The following video contains material that some may find disturbing, including language that may be considered harsh. Viewer discretion is advised. On September 11th, 2001, the United States experienced a series of horrible terror attacks across the nation. Everyone remembers where they were on that day. Everyone has a story.
Yes, my name is Patricia Gannon, and I'm a friend of Max Bratter.
How old were you on September 11th, 2001?
Okay, so I'm 64 now, so do the math.
Let's see, hold on. 40.
40-year-old
40-year-old. Okay, great. And where were you that morning, and what were you doing when you heard the news?
I was in the World Trade Center on the PATH train, going to New Jersey because I had a meeting, and I didn't hear the news because I was sort of just at the World Trade Center at the time. It was a little crazy because the PATH train, we never made it. We got on the train, and then all of a sudden we were hearing things, and then everyone started getting off the PATH train. So the PATH train to New Jersey is in the World Trade Center, and it's underneath. So we just kind of figured in New York, when everyone starts moving, I learned you just move with them. Even if you don't see it, something's happening.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. And there's no cell phone and there's no communication. It's almost like a silent movie.
Yeah.
But it's not silent because everyone's screaming. But it's silent in that there's no communication and there's no way you can verify what's happening.
And did you have any immediate concerns about your own safety?
You know, I gotta say, and I think this is true, I'd like to think it's true all over, but I was very concerned about my son and my family.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least you know where you're at. You're breathing, you're thinking. So you worry, where is everyone? And there's no information.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no cell phone, there's no news, there's no nothing. And no one really knows.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how did you actually first hear what happened?
What happened was, you know, the World Trade Center. Then I knew my son was at a pre-K in Brooklyn. And so what I did, the first thing I think most people did was no one really knew. But we started seeing things and smelling things. And I ended up in Midtown with the firm that I was at, the law firm I was at. It was called Proskauer Rose. And I was just full of dirt. Just filthy. It was disgusting. And so was everyone else. And then I knew my firm pretty well. So I knew that there'd be tons of food. And so I brought everybody else who was like staggering in Midtown there. So they didn't care. And so that was good. But the first thing I did was I went walk the Brooklyn Bridge to go home. But there was a police patrol all over, and they said no one's going on the bridge. You cannot go home.
Yeah.
And I was like a hysterical person. I am going home. I'm going home. I'm going home. That's what you want to do, is you want to go home. Because I was just going to do all these collectible things and just walk.
Yeah.
Walk. That's what everyone did. They walked. I had a place to go because I knew my firm was in Midtown, So they wouldn't let me take the dog. And then I went across the street to the school, which, interesting, I went to the dog first. Because I know my friends' kids were at that school, but they were already picked up. And so I went back to the firm. I just kept walking. And at some point along this walk, all the way back to like 40th, the firm was in, closer to Times Square. There would be people gathered around telling us what was happening. At first they thought it was a pilot that was drunk. And then every time everyone looked up at the sky, I looked up one time and then I didn't look again. And I just made it back. And then in time, we heard the news. And there was not a lot of people at the firm because they all couldn't get in. So as soon as I could, I tried walking back to the bridge or taking the Manhattan. Or like I walked more. If I was on the step challenge, I was so won. Because I was like, okay, I'm going to try, the Triborough Bridge. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try anything to get home.
Yeah.
And when the cell phones finally opened, then you feel calmer. Because I was able to communicate with my family.
Mm-hmm.
My son is fine. My husband was, of course, very frantic. My mom was beside herself. And my husband, the good news is no one knew I was at the World Trade Center. Because my husband doesn't connect. I have a meeting in Jersey to how I'm commuting there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that would have really freaked them out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, of course, it's especially the scariest place to be on that day. And and as you're saying, like with no communication, there's not much you can do.
Yeah.
What feelings or emotions do you remember experiencing that day, other than like just general being nervous, not knowing anything?
I mean, just every human emotion. I felt really scared about what was happening and what the more news you got, really scared about, because you don't understand why you're getting attacked completely.
Yeah.
I mean, geopolitical problems in the Middle East have been around so long. So once you realize it's an actually planned execution on your own soil, you're just kind of trying to understand it because you think of wars, you never think of the U.S. war. I mean, you think of the Civil War, but we don't have war on our own land.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we're like, I was very grateful and very scared and very worried for people. There was a lot of people on the streets, but the firm that I was at the time, they're very open to like understanding things, and so they were like, because I would like live there, brought like 7 strangers up. I was like, these people need something. They were older women too.
Yeah.
Like really, like probably my age now. They were like really confused, and at least I gave them a chance to sit in the cafeteria and eat something and pull themselves together, whoever they were, and but I think it's every array of emotion. You're frightened, you're scared, you're traumatized. Did we see someone jump? Did we really see that?
Yeah.
What was that? Do you know? And then you gather little bits of information. And angry. I was really upset I couldn't go home.
Yeah. Understandably.
Yeah, and they were right. The police. I was like, I need to go home. So then, I finally, they let people cross the bridge, and then I was right in line, ready to go home.
Yeah.
But by that time, we got to communicate.
Okay.
I think not having communication with my family killed me.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you don't know really where anyone is. You might know where they were supposed to be that day, but you don't know where they ended up and what was going on, yeah.
And then, you could see Brooklyn, so you knew that Brooklyn was okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course, for days after, just all the dirt and the smut and everything that came over into the Brooklyn, just everything. Yeah. And then you hear all these stories, and, it's very, very sad. It's just, it gets worse and worse and worse. And then you feel that your little story is so not worth speaking about,
Yeah.
And I felt really bad that I had to cause people to be worried because I couldn't get to a phone. My phone was, I couldn't find a phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that kind of leads into the next question, which you touched on. But obviously, this was a time where everyone was worried. So did you really notice, and other than yourself, any differences in the way that strangers were treating one another?
Yeah, everyone was really, really helpful. Everyone was really like, are you lost? Do you need anything? Some people, I found a woman who was in the bushes hiding and was really, really frightened. And I asked her if I could get her anything. And it almost was like immediate, like I don't know if I look up. I don't know if I've looked it up as much, but all these brilliant science minds like your own, I hope that it makes security even better, because really someone could just not do something as organized
Yeah.
as 9/11, but they could have acts of violence, international acts of violence, just bombing a school.
Yeah.
And I'm just talking about, a specific set of events.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just outright terrorism
100%.
on our soil as an act of war.
Yeah. And it's hard because 9/11 was obviously, it was something that, it was people from another country were committing terrorism on our country. But now with all these school shootings and different, shootings and events that are happening like on American soil by Americans, it's like almost like a change in mindset that people are literally like fighting on their own ground.
I know. That is just but that is a little different. I think 9/11 should be analyzed within the context of a foreign attack on our soil, because that's what it is. And it really unified Americans.
For sure.
I think
it made, from what I've heard from you and from everyone who I've spoken to about everyone has their own individual stories. And a common theme that I've noticed is that it really brought Americans together. Everyone kind of separated their differences, didn't care. You could be from another country, you could be from a different religion, gender, race, ethnicity, but everyone kind of band together for America, the thing that they have in common. And I think that was really powerful. And it shows that even in the hardest of times, America will come together and be stronger.
Yes, and I think that was it was very nice after that. There was a lot of sentiment towards that. I'm sure that certain groups could disagree, but I think that seeing that people were just attacked, I think we did a pretty darn good job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I really felt it in New York, and I'm not even from New York, and I felt that there was a lot of togetherness there.
Yeah.
And a lot of healing. And from all walks of life, and from all employers, from everybody,
Yeah.
Thank you, Patsy, for sharing your story. It's vital that the U.S. maintains the safety and security of all of its citizens, putting political, cultural, and economic differences aside. You can help. Share stories. Continue talking. Never forget.